She is nearly 80 years old, and still she is gorgeous. In fact, thanks to the marvels of modern technology and loving care of a dedicated team of sailors, she is now looking better than ever. The yawl Caribbee started her life on the drawing board of Philip Rhodes way back in 1936. Philip, based on Park Avenue in New York, had already designed yachts for the rich and famous, including Rockefeller himself. He used revolutionary materials like fiberglass and innovative features like a centerboard. And in the years that followed, Caribbee was painstakingly built at Henry Nevins Shipyard on City Island, New York. He built ships for clients like Henry Ford, General MacArthur, and Harold Vanderbilt. In 1938, Merle Youngs, an avid sailor, took delivery of Caribbee. Merle Youngs was an innovative industrialist who was the first to industrialize the production of latex. Merle's rubber products were, to the USA, what Durex was to Europeans, and clearly there was money in that. For over a decade, Merle pitched his Caribbee against the best racing yachts of the age, and not without success. In the spring of 1949, Caribbee was sold to Carlton Mitchell, a writer, photographer, journalist, jet-setter, but perhaps above all, an inspired sailor. He raced her many times from Newport to Bermuda, across the Atlantic and at Cowes in United Kingdom. He even embarked on a cruise to Scandinavia that resulted in a 30-page article for National Geographic. In 1952, Mitchell won the prestigious SORC Transatlantic Race. That race was the Volvo Ocean Race of the early 1950s. Mitchell wrote his best-selling novel, Passage East, about this transatlantic race with Caribbee. For sailing journalist photographers, that's as good as it gets. In the 1950s, Caribbee was called the Queen of the Atlantic. She won as many as 36 major sailing races, and with this endorsing her outstanding quality. In the cabin of the Caribbee, many bronze plaques can be found, showing her successful racing history. In 1952 and 1953, she was the winner in Havana of the famous St. Petersburg-Havana race, finishing at the day of the coup d'etat on President Batista by Fidel Castro. In 1954, Seabury Stanton became the next owner. He loved Caribbee so much that he placed a picture of the Caribbee on his tombstone. Seabury Stanton is the man who sold Berkshire Hathaway, an American multinational conglomerate company, to Warren Buffett. Hans Timmermans, the first European owner, brought the Caribbee to the Netherlands in the beginning of this century. Hans, a devoted sailor to the mold of Philip Rhodes and Henry Nevins themselves, lovingly brought her equipment up to modern spec, and not before time, installed new rigging that could see the yacht through another lifetime. September 2008. Unfortunately, Caribbee lost her mast. Due to the lack of money, she did not sail for 6 years. She stayed out of the water in a warehouse. Till in 2015, then she was bought with the generous support of Nimbus hands-on investors under the wings of the Sailing Heritage Foundation. History repeats. In critical situations during her lifetime, Caribbee always was saved by international investors. Under the control of master shipbuilder Iver van Klink of renowned Dutch shipyard De Hoop, established in 1693, Caribbee was restored. Nimbus hands-on investors supported a team of volunteers of the Sailing Heritage Foundation and made it possible to rebuild and refit Caribbee with a brand new 23-meter-long new mast and complete new rigging. The first shakedown trip with a newborn was made early spring 2015. Luckily, Caribbee is restored today and able to compete in the racing circuit again. Surroundings where she looks at her best and still striving for the top. She's nearly 80 years old and still she is gorgeous.